But if a woman whom he is faced with that is harassing him or even outright attacking him, what is he to do? We know that men can't rely on external help, as no one has pity for a man who can't defend himself a woman. But society will look badly upon him if he used physical violence against her. You see what I'm saying? You see how the double standard is? I'm not saying, I'm not condoning violence against women. I'm not doing that. I'm saying is society has a two-sided thing, and that's how the enemy does. He uses something good that God has created and tries to create something bad out of it. So what I'm saying is he's supposed not to fight back, simply take on the insult, or is he supposed to fight back and risk the consequence of having men jump in and help the woman or whatever. In contrast, women are automatically protected from even the slightest harassment, as they have the full support of supplicant men around her as a shield. So what I'm saying is, men, if you carry yourself in a certain way, you wouldn't get yourself in these positions. If you respect that woman, if you treat her nicely and with kind words, you won't come into this situation. But what happens is, when we start disrespecting one another, especially men, if we have not put ourselves in the position of respecting, then we're going to get that blowback. And then when we get the blowback, and if it hurts our pride, then we want to fight then. That's where the abuse comes in. That's when the property ownership is saying, you're going to do as I say do, or I'm going to kill you. We hear it all the time. We hear it all the time. All right? Women fully exploit this advantage of being seen as delicate creatures that need special protection from being victimized. And this is where men place themselves at a disadvantage. Men are unlikely to keep another man from an attack by a woman, for they don't tolerate a pretty man who can't even defend himself from a female. Praise be to God. And a man is even more likely to behave like a sissy and request protection from other men or higher authorities for the fear of losing his face or his pride. Plain and simple. All right. Now, simply put, men are expected to fend for themselves without acting like a brute who fights back, while a woman enjoys the privilege of being protected by men and government by just playing innocent victims. The same feminists who cry for gender equality have no problem with their arrangement at all, and in fact will not hesitate to ridicule men who seek the help of law for being insulted. Fight back and you are monogamous who assaults women, seek help and you are a crybaby. It's a lose-lose scenario for men in today's world. That's true. But we have to learn, once we start respecting ourselves and we don't put ourselves in those positions, then we won't have those type of problems. All right, how should we respond? Let's go down, because we don't want to, if we respect what God has created through the woman, we won't have those issues. We won't. Because all you have to do is just walk away and don't deal with that. But as soon as you open Pandora's box and you start dealing with that stuff, then you're going to put yourself in a situation, because now your pride is on the line, and then you want to fight back. You want to abuse. You want to control. All right? And that's where the problem starts. All right? Why do women fall for crude men? And why do men fall for crude men, or why do women settle for second best? Why do you do that, women? Why? For many women, even smart women, women who should know better, a strong man is synonymous with one who treats her badly. And that's so true. A lot of women will rather take the bad guy instead of taking the guy that's going to treat her with respect and treat her decently, because the bad guy is the image. Oh, I got a bad guy. You know, look at him. Look at the kind of clothes he wears. Look what kind of car he drives. The bad boy. And see, what happens is, that's the same man that's going to treat you badly and not going to treat you with respect. And that's the same one that's going to abuse you 9 times out of 10. But you want that kind of treatment. Why do you as women want to be treated like a second-class person? You're fighting for rights, for have equality, but you're willing to go out with the bad guy and treat you badly, but as soon as the good guy comes along, he's the one that suffers, because he's trying to treat you like a lady or treat you like a princess, like you are. Woo, man. If the man doesn't treat her badly, she modify herself, often by becoming vivacious in her needs. She'll hate herself and then wonder why she's unloved. Dr. Alexandra Simons records the case of a woman who lived alone, worked hard, traveled, and had many friends, and yet was always very cautious about becoming involved romantically, because She knew that only a strong man can take care of her. Okay, there's a strong, dominating person wants to control. See what I'm saying? Simone found that as soon as this woman met a man who was compatible, she seemed to change from being independent to being extremely needy. You see what I'm saying? You see the change up? Women, you don't have to be needy. God, you are a gift to man. You are a gift. And man should respect you for who you are and how God created you. You don't have to be needy. Because if that man is in tune with you emotionally, he'll supply the needs that you need. And you don't have to be needy. But see, when you start dealing with the bad guy and start dealing with these guys that are not really what you need, or because is that what you want, then you become needy, because now you want him to pay more attention to you, because now he's hanging out with the guys all night. He's never there. He may be out there with other women, but you say you love him. Come on now, let's be for real. She had no interest in going out or entertaining friends. She was interested only in her boyfriend. All right, listen to this. Had tremendous sexual desires and looked forward to getting married, cutting down on her work and giving it up completely. She clung to her boyfriend physically and emotionally, looked up to him in a little girl manner, and conducted herself in a submissive. There it is. See, women, when you open that door for that man to control you like that, when you start looking up to him as he's the mighty God, now that's when the abusive nature will start happening. That's when the property control will start happening. What I'm saying is, women, is that set a standard for yourself. When you set that standard, let that man come up to that standard, and then, and only then, do y'all come together and meet and then talk, and then put your cards on the table and start talking to one another, and that's when you can start growing together as a team. But don't sink to his level. And men same way. Men don't sink. You have a standard and don't go below it, and vice versa. You got to have standards. If not, that's when the abuse. Now, abuse can be on the other side as well. A woman can abuse a man, even though society don't think that. We just talked about that a little while ago. But a woman can abuse a man as well. All right. 10 rules for women who are unlucky in love. Unlucky in love. Let's look at this. Get off the pity train, women. Get off the pity train. All right? God loves you, and you are a gift that God has given to man. Respect yourself, set a standard, and don't compromise. All right? Don't compromise. Never cry about a boy. There's many men out here. There's some good men, but don't mess up your future by messing up your present. What I mean by that is, don't hang around with these deadbeat men that don't respect you, not working, is living off of you. You're paying the bill, you're paying his car note, you're dressing him. Don't do that. Don't do more for that man than that man can do for himself. If he's not willing to go out there and get a job and change his life around, cut him loose. Don't even entertain it, because already you have lowered your standard. Yes, we all know that we all go through ups and downs in life. Yes, we are. But if you don't have nothing to bring to the table, why are you entertaining it? Why are you entertaining the thought of talking to him? When he gets together, if you're still interested, tell him, give me a call. We can talk then. And there's nothing wrong with that. He may get upset with you, thinking that, oh, you think you better than everybody. You a B, you this, you. Then you already know that that wasn't a person for you in the first place. All right. Number 3, keep an air of mystery. You know, I was talking to a gentleman the other day. You know, I watch Turner Classic Movies a lot because I respect the generation, which is the greatest generation. And we talked about this on this show, on this broadcast. Back, people that were born from like 1910 up to about 1924, that was the greatest generation ever lived. Those men and women, they knew how to respect themselves. That man respected that woman at all costs. Opened the door for her. Whatever he can do for that woman, he was there for her. That woman didn't lower her standards. She didn't go around sleeping around. I'm not saying that didn't happen. Yeah, it probably did. But majority of the time, they had set a standard in their life. They set a standard. And when you set a standard, then you require that other person to come up to your level, or you ain't going to be bothered. And that's where we have sold ourselves short here in society today. You know, women want to be loved because they didn't never have a father love in their life, so they feel if they give in and give the man the sex what he wants, that he'll love her more. That's the biggest lie ever told. He ain't gonna love you anymore. All he wants, what he can get, and he's gonna move on because he's not willing to give that commitment. If he did love you and care about you, he will respect your body, and you should say, well, I'm not giving in to that desire. Yes, I want to be in a relationship, but I'm not gonna compromise my morals. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. So don't bow down, but keep a mystery. You know, and like I said, I was talking to this gentleman, and I said back then during that time, during the 30s, 20s, 30s, and the 40s, in part of the 50s and 60s as well, women dressed a certain way, a man dressed a certain way, and a woman left something to the imagination. My aunt used to always say, women nowadays, they don't leave nothing to the imagination. Everything is out. Everything is shown. So we can see, a man can see everything they got. Leave something to the imagination, women. Leave something to the imagination. Let them think about it. Let them wonder. All right? There's nothing wrong with that. All right, number 4. Only put in a 30% effort. What I mean by that, it's a 50-50 thing. And what I mean by that is that everybody should bring something to the table. Bring a little at a time. Don't put all your cards on the table at one time. All right? My aunt used to always tell me, you wear your heart on your sleeve. Don't be willing to give up everything just to get 10 or 20% back in return. Don't do that. Give a little bit at a time. And as you see you're getting back, then you work, you may give another 5 or 10%. But don't be too anxious to get into a relationship, and it could turn into an abusive relationship, or they may not respect you. All right? Praise be to God. We almost finished with this. Number 5. Make him come to you, women. And what I mean by that, make him think. Make him leave something to his imagination so he wants to see you again. Don't just give it all up on one night. You know, why should a man buy the cow when he's getting the milk for free? Right or wrong? Why should he? All right, set a standard, women. Never see him less than a 7-day notice. Let that man plan. But and I'm good for this. I used to do this all the time. I would say, well, do you want to go out? I said, if maybe we can go out on Saturday if you're not busy. I got a nice evening plan for you if you like to go. Yes, I would. You as a man also leave some mystery as well. Surprise that woman. Show that you put some thought into the date. Dress yourself and be appropriate. Don't walk around with sneakers and all this other. I don't appreciate that. Man, you should, back during that time, during the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s, a man did not leave the house unless he was totally dressed. So what does that mean? That means he was clean, shirt, tie, suit, jacket, pants, and his shoes were shine. We need to get back to that, and I believe in that totally. All right, and that was the last one. All right, no, we got a few more. Let's go. 3 tips to avoid the dreaded friend zone. Never call him unless return a call. Okay? Never call him unless return the call. What I mean by that, women, if he don't have enough time to call you back, then don't call him. Don't call him. If you give him your number, he don't call you for 5, 6, 7 days, don't call him. He wasn't even worth it. All right? Never return a call or text immediately. Well, out of respect, if it's not the relationship you want, don't entertain it. But out of respect, nowadays, you know, if you can't get to the phone right away, find it well. But out of respect, don't let it go on for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. Come on now, I think that's a little bit disrespectful. All right, we need to use common sense in that. All right, do not get physical. Don't get physical too early. Like I said, why should he buy the cow if he's getting the milk for free? Signs of emotional insecurity in a man. Signs of emotional insecurity for a man. What does that mean? For most people, feelings of insecurity come and go without ever causing major problems. Some men suffer, however, from such deep feelings of emotional insecurity that their insecurity can poison their relationship. So what that means is, in essence, is a man is not not going to share his weaknesses. Why is that? Because he's afraid that somebody's going to laugh at him, or he's going to be looked at less than, or the word comes back again, being a sissy. But I talked about this on the broadcast last night. If we as men are going to have a good relationship and to understand what true intimacy is, we have to learn how to talk. We have to learn how to share. We have to learn how to spend time together. And all those things, if that woman loves you, she's not going to laugh at you because you got weakness. She got weakness too. We all got them. We all got them. All right? So don't let that be a sense of, because you're insecure, that's why you treating her with disrespect. Is that why you abusing her? Well, get your act together. Don't deal with a woman if you know you got some issues that's going to poison a relationship. Don't go down that road yet. Get yourself together first. How can you love somebody else and treat somebody else with respect, and you don't even respect yourself, and you ain't got your act together? All right? Insecure or simply just interested. Don't be insecure. Men become needy because we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. We have a problem. Criticism or control. We don't like people. Men don't like to be criticized because we want to be looked up at that we are the man who got it all together. That's how we are. That's how we are. How to handle his insecurity. How do we handle it, man? If the man, if a man that you're involved with shows signs of insecurity, try to assess whether the behavior is a situational or long-term pattern. For instance, a man who recently went through a divorce or breakup is likely to be a little insecure for a while, and that's true because he's been hurt. And vice versa, women are the same way. All right. But a man with a long history of sad stories to tell is more likely to have a problem. That's right, because he don't know who he is as himself. If you conclude that he does have issues with insecurity, take things slowly. Then what did we talk about? 30%. You remember I just said that? Slowly, and don't feed into the pattern getting deeply involved too quickly. All right? Set a standard. Insecurity is treatable only if the person suffering from the problem seeks help himself. That's what I just said. Get help for yourself first before you get involved. You can fix his issues by giving him the affection and reassurance he craves, because he will not believe it, nor will this spur him to change. It's not. So don't feed into that behavior. Women, don't feed into that behavior, because all he wants he wants sympathy and empathy, but he don't need that. He got to get his act together first, because he cannot meet your emotional needs if he has emotional problems. All right, I'll leave it right there. All right, we're going to close it on this. Signs that a man is going to become abusive. Signs that a man is going to be abusive. Using words to hurt you. Calling you out of your name. Calling you the B word. All right? When those names start coming out like that and disrespecting you, then you know the relationship is headed down the wrong track. All right? And you need to get off the pull. You need to get off the train at the next stop. Praise be to God. Wants you all to himself. That means he's insecure. You got to go to work. You got to do this. You got to do that. If he has to be around you 24/7, then you got a problem. He has a need problem. He's needy because he has some emotional issues going on that he has not confronted yet, and he has not dealt with those things. And men, I'm talking to you too. Get it together before you get into these type of relationships, because then you're going to abuse what God has blessed you with through that woman. All right? It's never his fault. Always pass the buck off on somebody else. All right? I ain't going to say no more. All right? I got two more. It happened before. It happened before. If your boyfriend has ever been physically abused to you as a past girlfriend, it's likely it happened again. It'll happen again. If it happens once, he hits you or abused you or says certain things, it's going to happen again. All he's doing is covering up that pain that he went through maybe a bad experience in his life or something that's going on, and it's going to happen again. Men, check yourself. Get yourself some help. Don't abuse what God has given you. Don't try to control something you have no control of. That woman don't belong to you. God created that person. She has a choice. All right? But if you treat her with respect, if you treat her with love, that can be the most beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing that God has ever given us, that of a woman. Praise be to God. And then lastly, getting help. Getting help. a man needs to reach out for help. If he sees he has a problem, and women, or you're in a relationship with him, let them get help. If he don't want to get help at a certain period of time, let him go. Like I said, when that train pulls to that next station, get off and keep on moving. Wow. I hope that